Hey, hey, we are back again with another edition of the Influence and Conversion series. I'm your host, Molly Trotter. Super excited to bring on our guest today. We are talking with Stephanie Hess and finding the bliss in building. How amazing would that be? Finding the bliss in building. Because sometimes you're just like, oh, why am I not there yet? What do I need to do? What am I missing? And we're always trying to look for something else rather than finding the bliss when it's literally right there in front of you, but it depends on how you look at it. So really excited to bring on Stephanie here in just a bit. I'm going to go ahead and add her in. I believe that she is watching. Perfect. There she is. So below where you're tuning in from. Always love to see the reach of the show. And if you have questions, please jump in, ask. Now's the time to do it. There she is. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, gorgeous. How are you?
Doing so well. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed and grateful. So excited to be here with you.
Yes, I'm super excited that you're here as well. I would love for you to kick things off and share who is Stephanie, a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll dive into today's topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to check on my audio. Am I good on your end?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so hi everyone. I am Stephanie Hess. I am a business coach and mentor. I started my business in 2018 after a long stint in the corporate world, like so many of us. And it has not been an easy road. There has been so much blood, sweat, and tears, so much sleepless nights and prayers and all of the things, right? And so I am just so grateful to be in a position to help empower women like you are doing, Molly. I'm such a fan of your work and the way that you have just risen to this level of leadership and supporting other women. That is what it's all about, because we rise together. So thank you so much for
Yeah. And a big part of that is I love being able to feature women like yourself on this show because of how you choose to show up. And I love today's topic. Just it says a lot about you because just so everybody knows, I ask them. I don't go on their page and say, "Hey, let's talk about this." I'm like, "What do you want to share? What's heavy on your heart so it flows that much better?" And you wanted to share finding your bliss in the building. So I think that's so like sometimes we can get so caught up in why am I not there yet and this and that and all the things. But I would love for you to share, where do you find your bliss? How does that work? People might be like, I don't even know how that happens.
Yeah, it's going to look so different for everyone. And I read something earlier and it encapsulated everything that I envisioned we would talk about today. And it was just how we can search for the answers outside of ourselves all the time, which is so easy to do in this modern day plugged in world. And yet so often when we take a moment and just get still, as challenging as that can be for some of us who are just movers and shakers, so much of the time the wisdom, the answer, the guidance is there. And so I can't speak for everyone right now. I'm speaking for my amazing community of women that I have the privilege of supporting and mentoring daily. What I can say is what I'm seeing is there is a lot of exhaustion and people are tired, and the first inclination for us, I find, is we can just start judging ourselves. Well, why am I feeling tired? Why can't I just figure this out? And this pressure can be soul crushing. So what I found works really well for me, and again, this is going to be an individual journey and quest, is to just find that centering for you. Maybe it's 5 minutes in the morning where you can just be with yourself and to listen for that wisdom that you have. There's so much inside of you that you can tap into, and just really make this more of a practice, a daily practice, if you will, or weekly practice if you're just starting out. But the more that we can do that, especially in times where it's heavy, we're carrying a lot, there's a lot of noise, I think that it can be a saving grace.
Yes, I love that. And that's something I actually do daily. I wake up super early. My followers know I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. They're like, "Who are you? Who does that?" And I'm like, I need a lot of like grounding time, personal time, workout time. I need to pour into me before I pour into anybody else, when you say that, it's such a good place to be, of just like, whatever that, if it's 5 minutes, if it's an hour, whatever that is. But I love, because 5 minutes is so doable. Take
Mhm.
that time to really just like sit in it and be like, what do I need? I just need to be still. Especially for high performers, because they're like, bing, 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 like all over the place, right? Like I could be doing a million things. Being still is really hard. So how has that been? I love to know, like, whether it's for, an example from a client or maybe yourself, how's that been for you to like have that time? What was it like to slow down and then have that time? And what has it done for you?
Mm. You mentioned high performers, and I deeply resonate with that term, just coming out of the corporate space. And many of my women in the community do as well. And I can tell you, for people like us, I think when there is that kind of programming and conditioning, that is one of the hardest things to unlearn, right? How to feel safe in the slowdown. And really, the distinction for me was I can actually slow down to speed up. And I never had made the connection because I was always sped up. I was always going 100 miles per hour. And so, in the beginning, when I started to dip my toe in this water, I felt a lot of resistance. I'm not going to lie. It was hard. It didn't come naturally to me. I wanted to go, go, go. And yet, so many lessons have come in those moments of, okay, checking in. How am I feeling in this moment? How do I want to feel in this moment? What needs to shift in this moment? And really just asking those questions to kind of provoke my own thinking. And I think it's Brendan Burchard who talks about transition points in our day. And I loved this when I heard him say it. When you are going from one thing to the next. So let's use a client call as an example. You have that client call at noon. How can you intentionally build in 5 minutes, so 11:55, as a transition moment for you, a transition point, so you can ask those questions again. How do I want to show up to this next call? It might require a different version of you. Maybe you have to turn up a bit more confidence or something. And really, really leveraging the power of transition points throughout your day, going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. It just helps create a lot more intention and purpose behind the day.
That is so good. I love that. And I was so guilty of that. Gosh, it feels like yesterday, even though it wasn't. But just like one thing to the next to the next. But you're absolutely right. Like there's certain times where you need to be fully on, which is for a client or something that you really need to be fully engaged in. And you need that space. You need that break to like, recalibrate, or even maybe you might even need more than 5 minutes. Sometimes I'm like, I might need 15, 20, or 30. Knowing what you need, planning that out ahead of time so you're not rushing in and then you can't show up at your best. So love that. Love that. That's so.
Wait, can I just say, I love that you said that. Like, girl, sometimes I need more than 5 minutes. I mean, can we just celebrate this? Because what that just made me think of was I thought that when I was starting my business and when I was building it, I thought that my days had to match what my corporate professional daily schedule looked like, which was just pure insanity. And so I started working that way, and I quickly realized, oh my goodness, this does not feel good. I can't, I don't want to do it this way. And so that was a divine moment for me, an interruption to know, like, you know what, we're going to work half days on Monday. We're going to end Fridays by 12 p.m. and maybe work 2.5 full day, or 2 full days and another half day, or whatever the thing is. But just, again, that was an entirely different way of being. And it required a huge paradigm shift on my end to be able to get behind that. And so I'm really happy to say that we finally got there, to where we now work part-time hours. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it is so possible when we are able to just trust that we're always being guided and following what you're being led to do and create, and how to create that, and really, really connecting yourself to, well, how do I want all of this to feel? we're
Yeah.
we're we're when we're moving and when we're on autopilot and moving a million miles per minute, it's easy to lose connection of the deeper feeling.
I was about to say, do we have the same schedule? I literally plan mine the same ways. I'm like Monday is and Friday's a half day, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's where I'm like in the meat. It's so funny. And when you have, and I've talked about this plenty of times, it's like you really have to control your schedule and understand. Like when I understood this is where my clients and these are where people, this is where they want to operate, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm done by 2 no matter what. That is it. I do
Yes.
later than 2. And then I'm incorporating, so I have plenty of time if I need to recharge, if I need to read a book. And one thing to even just add more validity to your point is I don't know what's up with this coffee shop across my street, but every time I go over there and I get a $4 cappuccino, magic happens. In my business, clients, downloads, I'm like, what is in this cappuccino? But I go there twice a week, so I'm like, I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to keep going.
You're following your bliss,
I'm
right?
and I'm not even really that much of a coffee drinker, but I was like, oh, this tastes good. So it's just so crazy to me that, and it's right across the street. So I'm like, grateful I can walk over there. And it just gets me out of my home office, all of that.
Oh,
But the point is
done.
getting out of your environment and out of that like daily grind and hustle and finding those quiet moments, whether it's in your home, out of your home, whatever. So important. I've, probably in the last 8 months I've been really trying to incorporate that, and it's been working, and I've been seeing those blessings, which makes the whole building process, again tying this all up, that much more blissful. So any other thoughts that you'd love to share? This has been so good, and as we're wrapping up, I'm sure you have plenty to share, but anything that you'd love to leave us with?
Oh man, where do I start?
I know.
I would just say, like I was sharing with my community earlier that it's so common that we're receiving wisdom and advice and people telling you should do it this way or that way or this way. And I would just say that our brains are naturally wired to listen for agreement. And
Mm,
so I would just notice where your brain is trying to do that. And when you're able to shift into listening for an insight instead, so not like, oh, I agree with what they're saying or I don't agree with what they're saying. Come at it from, oh, what insight is meant for me today that will move the needle in my life, in my business, in whatever category. What insight am I meant to receive today? And that has been such in like that's had such an impact in my career. And I tell my clients all the time, insight over agreement changes everything. When we
mm.
can soak the insight out of every day, miracles kind of just start to happen.
That is so good. I love that. So good. Stephanie, you're incredible. And as we're wrapping this up, you have an incredible gift that you also would love to give. So I would love for you to share a little bit about what that is. And then if you guys are not following Stephanie, definitely hit this drop down menu right here and you have to go follow. I believe it's Stephanie Hess Coaching. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
Thank you, Molly. So what we have is a complimentary Get Booked Biz Audit. So this is for business owners who are really wanting to build a thriving practice with maybe a handful of perfect fit, aligned, high value clients. What I do is we get on the phone together, 20 minutes, and I will assess kind of everything you're doing and give you one nugget, one insight to work on that could really shift the amount of clients that are coming into the business. And even you might be thinking, well, I'm good on the clients front, but are they perfect fit people that you're attracting into the business? That's really important. So if that sounds like it would create a lot of value for you, please, I'd love to connect and offer that. You can just click the link and find time.
Awesome. Stephanie, thank you so much again. This has been absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much, Molly. And thank you for the amazing work you're doing with the Alliance group and everything that you do.
Oh, well, thank you. I so appreciate that. All right, you guys, we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.